Hi, welcome to J.MarieDiary, my very first upload to my new series. I wanted my own space to do my own thing, and I chose IG. I hope that's okay. Now, I am a little sick right now, but for my introduction episode, I thought it'd be appropriate to formally introduce myself. So let's get formal. I am J.Marie Eichelberger. I am your average 20-year-old black trans girl from South Carolina. My main goal in life, or at least in this life, is to not only know that I am loved, but to also feel that I am loved. Though my dreams are broad in ways that negative-minded people usually doubt could come true for someone like me, they just seem so impossible for someone like me. Those dreams of being a successful singer, writer, or actress, in my view, seem more realistic than my goal in life, as I mentioned earlier, being to know that I am loved. Because while I know I am sometimes perceived as boring in old worldly classic ways, I can humbly say that I also know that I am talented and business-minded enough to make it. But my life goal of accepting love, which might seem so normal to others, is far-fetched to me. Because I know for a fact I'll never allow myself to believe anyone truly loves me. This feeling of not receiving that I was loved, although I was told it on repeat, was based off of the vilification of my femininity, growing up a young black child assigned a gender that I didn't relate to or feel comfortable conforming to. In a household that didn't know how to feel about my being different. I know they loved and still love me. And I know that for a fact because while they vilified it, in ways they also nurtured it. Even though it was something they ridiculed, it was something that they also nested, they protected, because they knew it was a part of me. Obviously, this thought process has hovered over my mental health since I was a child. It stems from being a scared little girl yearning to be herself in a loving but sometimes oppressively faithful Southern Baptist family. I knew in my mind, based off of comments of personal disagreements with the being in the LGBTQ plus community or intolerance towards the LGBTQ plus community based off of religious beliefs within my family, that the real me might not be loved in the way that I was loved, playing the role that I was given by a director who negotiates with none of his actors, okay? None of his cast at all, okay? As my family saw it, boys were boys and girls were girls. God didn't make mistakes, and if you felt God was making a mistake and you took matters into your own hands, your soul would then be condemned to hell for eternity. And my very religious family didn't want our souls separated in the afterlife. I was taught this from a very, very young age. I was constantly corrected by my family when my true personality and interests showed through the character that they wanted me to play. They wanted me to play this character for all of these years because this is what they knew. The notion that I had to be someone else, the notion that I had to be someone I knew I wasn't, for there to be harmony in the beautiful song that was our family, taught me that I was a villain or a troublemaker who could only cause disappointment and terror when being myself. And who could love the antagonist? Who could love the villain? The constant nitpicking wasn't exclusively from my family. When I went to grade school, classmates also made me very aware that I was different. Some would notice how feminine I was, or that I played mostly with the other girls. And they plainly asked, did I think I was a girl? Did I want to be a girl? And sometimes they just plainly state that they knew I wasn't a girl and I'd never be a girl, and that I should go play with the boys. Ultimately, that's what they wanted me to do. For a very young child, it taught me to fend for myself. It taught me to isolate myself. It taught me to accept that I would always feel lonely. I'd always feel like an island separated from the mainland of acceptable society. Since childhood, I have come out as trans to my family and peers, and many things have changed, some for the better, some for the worse. But the one thing that has remained the same is my feeling of inadequacy, or the feeling that I have somehow disappointed my family or brought disgrace to my family. I have forced myself in some personal cases, of course, to believe that some people do genuinely care about me and love me. It's something that I had to learn to do to better myself, and to also know how to treat people, because we cannot have healthy relationships feeling that the other person in the relationship honestly doesn't care about us. And it's a feeling that I constantly have had in relationships, just fear of losing that relationship and always wanting to overcompensate to make sure that the relationship lasts. But even when forcing myself to believe that certain people care about me, I always, in the back of my mind here, or at least they believe they do. I think that a lot of people idealize people, and that's the person they love. But I just feel that a lot of times I'm completely separate from the idealized person that people want to love. And in some ways, I feel that certain family members and friends try to hold on to the person that you were for way too long, and you begin to realize they don't love you in your current state. They love who you were back then. And that has fed into it all these years, honestly. That's the answer. People romanticize a person to fit into their world. They're not going to take you outside of the character they've picked for you if it does not make their world happy, if it doesn't fit into their world, if it somehow does not serve their world a purpose. That was today's episode, y'all. I hope you will come for the next one. I thought it would be a really good introduction episode, basically just to talk about where I'm at with self-love, since it's something that, is such a big topic now, and, people are trying to make sure that they are on top of their mental health and knowing how to love themselves. And that's where I'm at with it, y'all. I don't feel that I can allow people to love me because I've not gotten over things from my childhood. And that's what it is. I've only allowed myself to be myself around my friends, and I put that energy into my friendships. And so I don't think that I will ever have a personal, successful romantic relationship until I'm able to be myself with people who are seeking a romantic relationship with me. And it's something that I really want a lot, but I know it's going to take time. This was the J.MarieDiary. Come and check with me next Thursday if you loved it. Thank you for listening to my thoughts. Please follow. Please subscribe. I don't know if I'm going to put it on YouTube, but I probably will. I love y'all so much. Thank you for watching. And feel free to come again, okay? You're always welcome to the J.MarieDiary.